Welcome to another edition of KITPLUS. This week we're talking live streaming. That's exactly what you're watching now. So stay tuned and find out more. Well, welcome to this edition of KITPLUS, and as I said before, we're going to talk about live streaming, and that's exactly what you're watching now. And to help me in this discussion, I have this fantastic panel of gentlemen here. Hi, guys. At the end, we've got Nick McLachlan from Minicams.
Hello.
We've got Chris Waddington from Newtek.
Hello. We've
got Mike Parsons from Portsmouth University.
Hello.
And next to me, the good-looking Selwyn Petterson from Europasat.
Hi.
Hello, mate. Now, we've all spoke many times on this show. Three of us recently. We spoke on the first ever show we did live, I do believe.
We did. That's before my hair went silver.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm starting to go a bit now. It's the show that does it. Now we're going to talk about live streaming, but as I've got Selwyn here, I just want to quickly go straight to you, Selwyn. You guys at Europasat are one of the leading in KA-SAT services. Tell us a little bit about, because we've spoke a lot over the past coming weeks about the kit that's on the ground, yes. That's taking the camera feeds in, that's taking the audio feeds in, and switching those, mixing those, putting graphics on, and then sending it to the internet. Now we've got to get that out of, let's say, the TriCaster system, which we're streaming out. We actually got to connect this system up to the internet, and that's what you guys can help us with.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Europasat and what it is and what KA-SAT is.
Okay, KA-SAT originally started as a domestic service, supplying internet to people all over Europe who haven't got connectivity. We've got about, well, we have got 10,000 live customers, and we're putting on about 300 to 400 a month. And then about 2.5 years ago, they decided to use the satellite for other commercial purposes, and the Newspotter product came into being.
Right.
And we recognised this immediately. IP broadcast, the way the market was going, developing really fast. And we decided to develop the product mainly with the BBC. They did a lot of the early work with us on KA-SAT. And then we developed the portal behind it so that we could do the charging and the billing and the control of it, and then hand control of the system to the user. So you guys, for example, at university, you can rock up somewhere, satellite dish, book your on time, do your broadcast, turn it off, and off you go. The beauty is you're not paying for it when you're not using it.
Right.
So it's really cost effective.
Yep. And unlike conventional satellite uplinks and downlinks, we're talking about an IP connection here, aren't we? Exactly the same as you would do with your, say, your 3G type connectivity on your phone or your internet connectivity at home. We're talking about internet connection via satellite.
That's right. We go two ways. We can either go, we give you a fixed UK IP address, and you can go across the internet and deliver it to wherever you like, Google, YouTube, whatever you want to do. Or we have another service where actually we deliver the service off the internet. We create a private network, and it goes from the teleport straight through to the London POP, then fibre straight to London Telehouse North, and then we can hand it off into networks or hand it back to you as you like, and you don't touch the internet at all.
It's amazing. Now, Mike, obviously you guys are doing live streaming at Portsmouth University.
Yes, we are.
And we spoke about this on another episode, but things are moving so quick nowadays, aren't they, compared to what it was like even when you started at the course.
Yes, exactly.
However many years ago that was now to what it is now. Live streaming has come a long way, hasn't it?
Yes, I mean, we used to, well, up until recently, our TV channel was streamed to a video player on the web.
Yep.
And we found that it was going out of sync. We didn't have the performance that we needed people to come and watch our programmes. So last year, when YouTube announced that they were opening up the opportunity to stream live to YouTube, we jumped on board that, and we stream our channel up to YouTube. We have programmes in a Capital Network's audience server, which schedules basically our TV channel, and that goes live to YouTube. And then we found through doing that obviously people can then watch on mobile devices, iPads, iPhones, and we can have a large number of people watching. We streamed as well the university graduations using YouTube, and that meant we could have people watching from all over the world at no cost, obviously, to the university, because YouTube provide that service for free. And that meant, that we said we could have, I think we had up to 500 people watching per graduation ceremony. And that as well has been really excellent in enabling people from around the world to watch.
And people are expecting things to be live streamed now. I mean, you see an event and people are saying, okay, can I watch this on the internet? From whether it's an announcement of a new product, or to the general election, or the Scottish referendum, something like that. People are expecting to see something live on the internet somewhere. And it's quite interesting actually when you have a look at the map. What the people we've got here, we've got cameras, we've got the gallery switching, putting all that together. We've got the technician who operates it and switches it, and we've got the connectivity to the internet. So, I mean, it's amazing you can now have this, effectively a workflow sitting here. And it's almost as if we had the order correct as well. So live streaming is everywhere now. I mean, Nick, obviously you guys provide minicams, and we've spoken about this before, but how much of your work now would you say is starting to go, is being live streamed on the internet as well as sort of the standard television?
Well, we might be using it in a slightly different way. In terms of, we've launched a new service which we call the remote rig. So whereas before we go and set up cameras in someone's house and we'd be in a porta cabin next door, what we've done more recently is we set up cameras, say, in a house in Birmingham, and then we'll operate everything from our offices in Staines. So using a Europasat solution, broadband satellite, what we've been able to do is stream pictures back over the satellite connection, view them on a monitor, and then we also have full control of all our cameras and everything remotely. So what's really good, it enables us not to have to be on location and to be able to obviously live stream everything back to our offices and monitor from there.
You've actually used our service, haven't you, I think?
Yes, that's right, yeah, it worked very well.
And it is the key thing to live streaming, and it is connectivity. In the end, I mean, we can have amazing cameras, we can have amazing operators, we can have an amazing system that's putting it all together, but if we haven't got an internet connection, we're not going to be live streaming. So, I mean, obviously there's various solutions out there. We've talked about Europasat, and we'll go into that in a bit more detail in a minute. I've tried, let's talk about 3G, 4G. 4G is out now. It's a little bit more widespread than it was. You can start to go, you start walking around. I'm on 3 network, and you suddenly pop up and think, oh, this town's got 4G now, Is it as good as people say it is for live streaming? I mean, I'm going to ask Selwyn here, who may be slightly biased.
I think the reality is that there's a lot of people out there who spend a lot of money on boxes which combine 3G, 4G and other sources of input. And the reality is that if you arrive at a 4G cell and it's quiet, it's going to work beautifully. If you move out, the signal drops off very quickly. If it's busy, you get less bandwidth. 3G, it really is luck. Is the signal any good? How busy is the cell? And what we're finding is a lot of broadcasters, larger broadcasters, they're almost using satellite as first choice because it's reliable, it's robust, it's one-to-one dedicated, it's not contended. And a good example, we mentioned earlier, the Scottish referendum. Sky had 25 KA antennas for referendum results. BBC had about 12 to 15, all running KA-SAT. And I must admit, I don't know if it was a little bit of luck, and following wind, we did not drop a single frame on those broadcasts that night, all the way through the night. And we came out of that smelling extremely well. But I must say, there might have been good weather behind it. It went very well,
But it's interesting, actually, you mentioned the weather. One advantage, I've used Europasat, yourself you've used Europasat, is a KA satellite connection is very robust. Masts go wrong. Lots of people use masts. Satellites tend not to fall out the sky at a regular basis.
On the weather, one of the questions we always get asked, what happens with heavy rain? Well, I'll tell you exactly what happens with heavy rain. It will slow down. However, if you use an uplink speed, which is very acceptable for broadcast, and that's 4 to 6 meg, it won't go below 3. If you're using 10, it could go down to 4 or 3. So the answer is the best speed is probably 4 to 6. And if you hit bad weather, the system will sense that, it will slow up. But we've virtually never had an outage. We've had slow ups. But even during the storms, we lost virtually no time.
And that's the thing, I mean, it's key, isn't it? I mean, Chris, when you want to go and set up for a live stream, you need reliable kit, you need reliable equipment, you need reliable connection.
Yeah.
TriCaster is great because that is a reliable unit. And so it's great you've got great cameras and you plugged in, but we need that reliable connection to the internet in order to get a stream. Unlike a piece of cable, of course, if your bandwidth goes up and down like this, then your stream starts buffering and people get that. And again, the viewer experience suddenly drops off and tails off. And so that's key. The other thing, I mean, obviously about streaming, a lot of times you're not in a studio setup like this, where a lot of time you're going, we're going to go out to this event and live stream it. And that's something where we need speed and ease of use to set up. From a fellow guy who's done live streaming, and you've done OB stuff as well. I mean, how key is it to have kit that works quickly, reliably, and is easy to put on?
It's really important. I mean, coming back to our graduations, which we do on our university network, it's absolutely paramount that those streams happen. If there are parents watching this, waiting to see their child graduate, if that stream doesn't work, it's bad press. It's it's something you can never replace for that person, and can't watch their child obviously crossing that stage. But moving aside from, I mean, we have now moved in ourselves as well now into a KA satellite system. We've recently acquired a Minicams satellite system, which we're getting set up as we speak, and that is going to enable us then to move away from our university network. Obviously, the speeds we can have on our network, being a large enterprise network, mean that that's not a problem for any kind of in-house network to network, but to be able for us to be able to go outside of our university network and broadcast from other areas, most likely within our city, is also a really exciting opportunity, and obviously we need that reliability, hence why we've decided to go for a satellite system to enable us to do that. So
brilliant. And Chris, the TriCaster systems are all incredibly easy and quick to set up, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fully integrated unit. So traditionally you'd have your production switcher maybe in your active graphics system and your recording. So really, the TriCaster combines all of those, so you don't need to worry about setting all of those up. But you are quite right in terms of when you're streaming, you need to have that reliability of connection. And whilst TriCaster sorts out a lot of the issues and actually makes streaming very simple, in terms of to start and stop a stream, to set it up, you can do it all with a click of a button. You do need to have that reliability of connection. And generally, if you're going out and about, I mean, I get calls all the time, reasonable amounts anyway, from people saying, I did a venue and I turned up and I put my TriCaster on or whatever it was, and I plugged in and we had some problems. And it's not the system and it's not the internet connection. All it is just that there was not enough preparation done to speak to whoever the network administrator is, to say, okay, this is what I need. And you'll have a conversation and say, well, we've been told we've got 100 meg bandwidth. And it's like, that's fine, but you're at a live fashion show and that 100 meg bandwidth is now shared between 500 people, all on their phones, all tweeting, and you are barely getting anything out of it. So quite, the day before you were setting up and everything was fine because no one else was sharing that. As you said, it wasn't contested. So, and now all of a sudden you go live and you have problems, and that is crucial, and again, that is why you've got satellite systems where you don't have to. It takes away that pain of having to go to a venue and trying to work out, well, what feed am I going to get, how much bandwidth am I going to get, and also giving yourself enough headroom as well. If you're sending out a 1.5 meg stream, you need at least 1.5 times to 2 times, and basically get as much as you can ultimately. But you need to have at least 1.5 times to 2 times as an uplink, and then you've also got to be considerate of what your downlink's going to be. So what is your viewer going to watch, and what would they find acceptable as well, and changing production techniques as well.
Something else quite important as well, actually, if any important events, is doing a survey. We always say to customers, don't just phone up and say, this is what I want. Do a site survey. Can you see the satellite? What are you near power? Take extra cables. You'd be surprised at the number of screw-ups. People get there, cable's got a problem. Have you got a spare cable? No, we haven't. Unbelievable how amateurish a lot of people are. They turn up, not prepared, equipment's not quite right, not been pre-tested, get to the site, it's not what they expected, they're not near power, all those sort of things. I always do a survey. And
I mean, I did quite a few live events, and it's amazing how many people who are, say, doing an event on the side with us, but they just don't consider the connectivity. They've considered everything else. They've got the lighting, they've got the cameras, they've got the people in place. They come up there and they go, can I talk to your IT department? And your IT department are usually a couple of people, very busy, and they're not going to get things turned around in time. And connectivity just seems to be forgotten about until the last minute, when all of a sudden you're the person who happens to be around, and they're all looking, "Oh, isn't it working?" Like, get your connectivity sorted out, as Chris and you said. Talking about speed of setup and things now. You look at a dish that you see for standard broadcast, you see an OB truck, and it's got this absolutely huge dish on front. And you're thinking, how on earth are we going to set one of those up when I want to do a live stream? Is that the sort of thing we need?
Well, it's auto pointing, so it's down to budget. I mean, we sell about 3 separate auto pointing type antennas, and typically £15,000, something like that.
Yeah.
Flyaway kit, our flyaway kit is around 3,000.
Right.
Okay, so you can buy a lot of those for them.
Yeah.
Completely manual.
Yeah.
If you've got a decent phone, it's got like an iPhone, for example.
Yep.
It's got a compass in it, things like that. You should be able to unpack it, be on air in under 15 minutes.
Right.
And by the time you've done it 2 or 3 times, you can point that very quickly. It's all audible, as you know. It's a tone. When it's on a solid tone, you're on the satellite.
Right.
And that's it. It really is that quick.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, actually. I've set them up a few times. It is really quick once you get used to it, yeah.
So the argument, do you want to pay 13, 14, 15,000?
Yep.
I think the main reason that people do go auto pointing, they usually got a 2-man crew, they've got a journalist and an operator, and they just want to press a button so they can find the satellite. And they're a bit frightened of it. Well, you've got camera guys today, the shoot and scoop brigade, I call them, one man and a camera, who are a bit more techie. They're quite happy to set it up. It doesn't take them long at all.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So what's in your flyaway kits that you get now? What we expect? Are we expecting, like, is it a 5-metre dish? Is it, how big are these things?
It's a 76 centimetre dish.
Right.
It comes with a tripod, pan and tilt head, modem, power unit, all ready to go. Goes in 2 cases. And the case is designed to throw it on an aeroplane as well.
Right.
So it's just ready to go. Or go back of a small estate car. I was using a BMW 1 Series, and all fitted in the back.
So you can get this set up, you can get your internet connection. What sort of speeds can you get out of a KSAT system?
You can go up to 10 meg up.
Right.
We don't advise that. We advise don't go over 8 meg. As we said earlier, allow some headroom. You know, most broadcasters, I think people like CNN, BBC, they rarely go over 6.
Right.
6 meg up with H.264 with codec. They're running HD. Very reliably.
Yep. And so that's you would be using for the sort of the point-to-point type.
Yeah.
If you were live streaming to somebody at home, even with, there's internet speeds now are getting to 70, 80 meg down and things like that. But we know they advertise 70, 80 meg down, but it's not really 70, 80 meg consistent, is it?
No.
What do we need to be streaming at to these people? I mean, Chris, obviously you set the TriCaster has encoding built into, so you can stream to YouTube and Ustream, live stream, those sort of things all built into it. What's your recommendations for live streaming? Let's say an HD.
Well, for HD, I mean, I would say you also need to look at, if really at the lowest common denominator as well, because you have to think about the devices people are going to be using it, viewing something. Are they viewing something on a TV screen, or viewing something on a computer screen, or are they viewing something on a phone? And what are those devices? Because that's the other thing to bear in mind is a lot of the time, you may have an encode, like for example, the TriCaster can encode content to go up to a server, but that's generally going to be in a single format. And then all of these devices and all these platforms all do things slightly differently. So you're generally going to have to go to either some kind of content delivery network, or you're going to have to go to a server platform which is going to either repurpose that content or sometimes even re-encode it. YouTube will do this. There's lots of other services like Ustream, Livestream. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. But in terms of the outlink, I mean, generally 1.5 megabits, 2 megabits should give you very good quality visuals.
I agree with you. I mean, 4 meg really robust.
Really 4 meg
nice
for like broadcast transmission would be very good.
Down to budget. You're going to get away with 2.
You're
going to get away with 2. 4 making it really good.
So if you're doing point to point, you want to get something somewhere.
It's down to budget.
So for the end user, obviously, we've got to think about, as you say, how they are viewing. So if we're doing a live stream to YouTube, then YouTube transcodes, and a lot of others do retranscoding on the time. So we only have to send one stream out, probably at the higher rate, and that will transcode down. But we still have to consider the fact that we're sending stuff on. We've got, as you say, we've got that headroom in order to be able to stream these up. So looking forward at connectivity, we've got KISat. 4G's up and coming, but as Selwyn said, I've had experience of, it's not there yet. And whereas a few people are using a satellite comparatively to the thousands of people who could be using 4G in your area. Where do we think live stream is going to go over the next sort of, let's say, five years now? I mean, it's come a long way already in 5 years. You only have to look at how the TriCaster has progressed in 5 years to cater for what people are wanting to see out there. Minicams and the quality, you know, people are expecting to see a lot of content from a lot of angles. And from an operator's point of view, you know, you've got a lot more things you can now do with a single unit. Where do we see it going in the sort of the next 5 years? I'm going to throw this over to
well, the world's hungry for content.
Yeah.
Absolutely hungry for content. We've got guys, as we said earlier in the discussion before we went on air, they're doing weddings.
Yeah.
International, and people want to say funny sports. What I call funny sports. You know, it's like people going skateboarding, people are doing mini car model racing.
Video games
cricket,
as well.
Cricket, small cricket matches or county matches, which are not internationally broadcast, all going down to places like live stream. And it's as wide as your imagination. Education.
Distance learning.
The market is growing because the prices have fallen. It's now very feasible, as we said earlier, for a camera you can buy for £2,000 or £3,000. A satellite broadcast kit for not a lot of money, you can actually be operational and delivering content to the world, probably for under 10 grand, well under.
And that's the thing, it's a global market. You've got a global audience. You know, you've got a global audience. And I think, and also everyone nowadays pretty much carries a TV screen around in their pocket, be it a phone, be it a tablet, be whatever their device is going to be. You know, and Wi-Fi connectivity and internet connectivity is, you know, I won't say limitless, but you're hard pressed to not have a connection. Unless you're at my house, no. But you know, you're hard pressed to not have that connection, and so I mean, everyone's got a TV screen. So you're on the bus, you're on the plane. Even now, like I said, on planes now, you've got Wi-Fi. You get your device out, and you don't want to watch any of the movies that they've got on there. Just go and buy something else and watch it else. You know, it's everywhere.
So, is there a risk? Would you guys say that obviously this is becoming far more accessible? Joe Bloggs on the street can now go and pick up his iPhone and stream straight to Ustream if he wants to. Is there a risk that the quality just plummets of all this content that's going up there? Or is it just the content that's king still? I mean, I come from a broadcast background. Content's important, but the way it's delivered and the quality of that is also important. Is there a risk, do you think, that we could start losing control of the quality of the footage, the content that's up there?
Do you mean the content or the quality of the broadcast? Quality
of the broadcast. I mean, let's say you can
production
literally...
value, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, the production value on it is it just going to... Is the expectations everybody that they find... Are they going to be happy now with shaky cam on an iPhone?
I think there's going to be a limit, isn't there? There's only a certain amount of the shaky shots you can actually put up with. So there'll be a percentage that I think could be tolerated. And I think that possibly will be key. In the fact that people don't want to sit there, especially in a broadcast environment, and watch something that's unlow or whatever. I think there'll be certain standards, but I think it will slowly creep in.
I think it's also, it depends, you know, it's generally, people will put up with lower quality content, a lower production value, if it's breaking news, or if it's the first to see something, you know. For example, if somebody has a product launch, everyone's on Twitter, they'll get this blurry photo of a new device or whatever it's going to be, and they'll accept that, but when they actually then want to look at the content properly, they'll want a proper video put together or something else. So, and I think it's the same with, you know, with for example, breaking news, you know, if the quality's low, if someone's on a satellite phone and the quality's low, it's not a problem because it's breaking news, you know, and you're the first one to get that picture out. I don't see that being a problem too much. I just think it depends on what the viewer wants to consume. I think if we have no editorial and no production value, then I think we have a problem. I don't think that will be the case. I think people now are so used to watching high quality content on TV, and the production value of the internet stuff is going up, that people, they know when something's bad, and people will switch off because they'll just go to something else. It's not like we're struggling for content. You know, you'll just switch off and go and watch it on something else. Someone else will be doing a better job of it.
Got very durable equipment now, so the quality of the content is really down to the director and the people producing it. There's no excuse for the equipment. You've got good cameras.
Exactly.
We've got a robust broadcast system. All the systems are there. So there's no reason why the quality shouldn't be good, except in the way it's produced.
I think that there's so much available to watch online. Even now with this second screen, I might watch TV while just flicking through my iPad. So if something isn't good enough, I will just switch off.
There's enough distraction.
But I am fascinated too, though, by, I think today EE's launching 4G Plus. And as we get up to these 4G speeds of 150 and 300 megabits a second, whether we might eventually have the ability to see all these different live streams from people's phones coming in. You can actually maybe in the future see stuff happening around the UK as it happens, and that be open to people to see. Oh, I've seen something exciting here, and I can stream this live to the web for people to watch. I think that's an interesting thing which could be opened up by the increased connection speeds.
Guys, it's a fascinating conversation. We can continue for ages on this. I am going to wrap it up. I want to just say, Selwyn, if people want to find out some more information about Europasat, a couple of us here have used it and we find it fantastic. And we can even book online now, can't we?
Book online. It's all automatically paid online. It's completely controlled. And you just find it's easy. It's europasat.com.
So
easy.
Great. Guys, thank you very much. I'm going to quickly go down the line again, just in case people haven't seen the other videos and the others, and find out where we can get more information about Minicams. And we're going to go to Nick. Go for it.
Yeah, sure. If you go to minicams.tv.
Chris.
Newtek.com. Newtek.
And Mike.
ccichannel.port.ac.uk.
Brilliant. And Selwyn, one more time.
Europasat.com.
Fantastic. And of course, for KITPLUS, then you'll find that at kitplus.com, where you'll find this episode and the other episodes we're doing. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, please. And you'll find out all the other information about KITPLUS on our YouTube and our website. So stay tuned for up and coming episodes. There's plenty to come from us here at KITPLUS. Until then, goodbye.